Okay, so a friend of mine had a rocking chair. Someone had sat on the handle. It's not a real fancy or expensive rocking chair, but it's one that she's used to rock her grandchildren in and wanted to keep it intact. But look right here, someone sat on the handle and broke this completely off. And it looks like they put some sort of silicone or glue on there to fix it. But of course, it's just that's not going to work. So she asked me if I'd go ahead and take a look at it and see if we could repair it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First things first, I'm going to remove the dowels off the side there and see if we can replace them something similar. Some pieces of furniture will attach the dowel all the way through the wood, like what we see right here. And then there's a slot and a wedge that's put in there, and then it's all glued nice and tight to keep it sturdy. They've done that on this upper arm too, which is the broken one. And that proposes a problem because it's difficult to get that dowel out. So here's what I like to do is take my saw and I will cut this flush, and then we'll drill a hole out in the middle and put a bolt in there so we can kind of maybe pull that out using a bolt rather than trying to pound it with a hammer. Let's see how that works. Now that it's been cut flush, we'll just go ahead and drill a hole. Now after sinking a screw in there, just kind of wiggle it a little bit, and that's how she comes out. Might need to nudge it sometimes from the other side, but you can see it's pretty well cleared out. And then there's a couple little pieces maybe that might want to stick along. If this doesn't work, and for some reason it doesn't want to all come out, you may have to drill a whole new hole, but the key is to have it cut off flat on the top and the bottom so that you can have some nice room. I see there's a little nail sticking in here that someone had done a repair. So I'll remove that and we'll get back after it. Now it's time to address the arm piece. That one was the one that came out with a screw. It looks to be pretty good shape. This one, I'm probably going to go ahead and add a piece to this with some sort of a screw system. I just need to remove this tape and silicone or whatnot that they've got on there. This one, it needs to be replaced. You may have trouble pulling it out. Might need to use a wrench or something to get on there to get a good grip, and then pull it loose. All right, so that came out. If we look in there, those holes are pretty clean. This one, yeah, I'll have to do some work, and we'll get her cleaned up and cut some new dowels. So starting with this inside arm, I put a little tape on there so I can kind of get an accurate measurement of it. What my plan is to use this piece of dowel, which is the same size, and just cut a piece off, basically make the same thing. We can finish it off with some paint or something like that. Let's get a little measurement on here. And it looks like it's right at 9.5 inches. So we'll make that cut and that thing will be done. It looks like it's simple glue and fill in those holes, and then we'll address the other one, which is a little more intricate and take a little bit more work. This arm was pretty rough and it looked like there'd been several repairs to it, so I cut the end of this off because it was just broken, and there's even a little piece of metal screwer still sticking in there. We can't work with that, so what I've done is cut it off nice and smooth. I'll sand the edges a little bit, and then I'm going to use another piece of dowel to mount right on the end of it like this. I'll put a joiner in there, and that's actually going to take us almost flush to the base. So I think that ought to work really good. Once we sand it down and paint it, she ought to look like brand new. I'll be joining the two dowels together with a dowel connector. You just simply drill out the hole, screw this one in, and then we'll do the same on the other dowel. Line them up and then clean them up with some sandpaper and finish them, and it'll look like a whole dowel. Now when you're ready to connect the two dowels together, I like to use some good wood glue to put on there. I'm quite liberal with it. I put some on both sides, let it set and tack for a moment, and then we'll just screw that right in place and then bring her on down. and tighten her up. And then once it's tight and it's flat, you get it nice and straight, there'll be some ridges left, and what we'll have to do is then let it dry and sand it down so it looks like one piece. Because this leg does go all the way down to the inside of the base, this part won't really show, but we do want to have it nice and smooth anyway so that it's easy to keep clean. After the leg's been liberally sanded, we can kind of mimic the factory tapered leg, which then fits into the base, and then we'll add our other piece in right up here. This is how it'll look. Put some glue in both of those, and then now it's time to fit this in here. Thread that in there. Looks like it lines up pretty good. I got plenty of glue in here and up here, and I add extra glue in here, the wood glue, and even put a little touch of wood glue in the very back. What we want to do is we want to wrap this down a couple times. I want to seat that. A little hard to do one-handed, but so that's seated in there, and you can see how the glue wants to squish back out, which is a good sign. So I'll clean this up, and it's looking pretty good. With the repair complete, we took advantage of the sunshiny weather and put a nice coat of satin black on the outside of this heirloom chair, and now Terry can enjoy rocking her grandchildren for many years to come. For more home repair, off-grid, or survival tips, please consider subscribing to my channel.